to do. He's at the back of that second trio of Boxsters. And we've got a change of lead this time around because the white machine at number 41, David Clark, comes through. And David is had his name at the top of the timesheet, at the top of the lap charts for a long time now. He's got an extraordinary run of 6 victories for David Clark, and he just set the fastest lap of the race as well. Fourth going through is number 33, which is Mike Seller, but there's going to be a change just behind him because Richard Starring moves up the inside of Lee Fitzpatrick and into 5th place. So Richard Starring, he qualified on the front row in the number 99 car, working his way back through the order, back into 5th place, and he's around about 4 seconds behind the leader. So he's already lost 4 seconds in just 2 laps with a problem off the line, and then we've tried to get back through the traffic. Effectively, of course, we've got 2 races, a 45-year-old from Thirsk, a chartered surveyor, MD of a group of companies, but he's only been racing since 2006. Big fan of endurance racing and brick cars, and even had a couple of outings in the British GT Championship in Richard Sykes with Lawrence Tomlinson, the owner of the championship. So even though he's then got 4 years race experience, Richard Sykes has already crammed a lot in, including the very high-profile British GT Championship. He's there in 3rd place with the number 21 car. Second is David Clark. The race leader is still Jerry Taylor, and Richard Starring is then I think going to be the next man through, isn't he? And Jason Flegg, number 3, comes through in the 924 lead, and then it's Stephen Brown about 0.8 of a second behind him, and the turquoise coloured car of Andrew Hannington, number 22, is next up. So in terms of the 2 championship, the overall championship contenders, you've got one, David Clark, in 2nd place in his class, and the other, Andrew Hannington, in 3rd place in his class. So Clark's advantage is going to open up slightly. If it's racing in Caterham's Jerry Taylor, and he's the chairman of Taylor's Foundry, which is a traditional casting manufacturing company. You might know the name if you follow Caterham racing, because Taylor's had their own motorsport team, their own Caterham racing team for a long time. Taylor's Foundry Motorsport, and he was in place with Richard Starring getting ahead of Lee Fitzpatrick, the Legends racer, who was in action just a few weekends ago at Donington Park, the penultimate round of the Legends Championship for the 50s replica sedan type cars, in karts basically, and Lee Fitzpatrick, a former champion. It's a Braybuck's team, which has its own British GT and endurance racing league, so we won the British GT title some years ago, in the late 1990s, 98 I think it was, and they ran a Viper in that category, under 500 odd brake horsepower machine. So Brooksby, a very strong team. Indeed, that Runs Brooksby was going to race himself, but elected to give the seat up to Lee, and Lee Fitzpatrick is therefore in the number 40 car. It was the other change to the programme that I didn't give you in the rush to get you the grid. So Martin, watching rather than racing here this weekend. He's got some racing experience, but most of his racing experience has come from team management rather than racing. Lee Fitzpatrick is making the car work well though, and challenging for podium position here. So approaching halfway distance, 20-minute race, and 9 minutes to complete now. And over the line goes the race leader, number 16, Jerry Taylor. Second, Dave Clark. Third, number 21, Richard Sykes. Fourth is going to be Richard Starring, number 99, and 5th, number 4 lane, to Jeffrey Hansen in the pit lane, and it's a drive-through penalty, is it? Or somebody, 18 is going to get a drive-through penalty, which is Alfred Peasinger, who's one of the top men in the 1994s this year. I think he went last time out, Alfred. Now Alfred Peasinger, number 18, who was 4th, he's going to get a drive-through penalty for exceeding the track limits. That's something we talked about in the earlier Caterham races. You have to stay on the track, and we know drivers run on the curbs and run on the grass from time to time, but if someone run over the curbs and onto the grass, then, well, it's not part of the racetrack, so you get penalised for it. You get a warning first of all, but if you keep doing it, you get seen the line, and that's what's going to happen to Alfred Biesinger in the number 18 machine. He's going to have to come through and take a drive through penalty, the driver who finished 7th overall in last year's Porsche 924 Championship. Fastest lap then for Dave Clark in second place, and the gap's just 0.4 of a second now between the top two. Jerry Taylor, the ex-Caterham man, and Clark, number 41, going into turn 2 at Sear Corner. Richard Sykes is a further 6 seconds down now in third place, so they've dropped him. But what about Richard Styrin? He's half a second quicker than the man in third place. So number 99, Richard Styrin, who qualified on the front row, got off to a poor start. He's really coming back now, closing the gap to the number 21 car of Richard Sykes, the man from Thirsk. So great racing inside the top 4 in the Boxster category. 5th is Fitzpatrick, 6th then is the number 33 machine of Sella, and Jason Flake continues to lead the Porsche 924 category. Comes number 3, Jason Flake, coming through, but on that lap, for the first time really, the gap comes down to 0.6 of a second. So Stephen Brown catching him up by the slightest of margins. Stephen, just 36 years of age, from Banbury, an engineer by trade, so knows about the preparation of the car, and he's involved with Jason Flake because Jason's team, Jason's company, Flake Transport, helps prepare the car. So they've got 2 drivers that know each other very well, first and second, as Alfred got him out of the top 6 in the 924 category. Now we've just got one that's just oversteered on the way through the S's, a green Porsche. Yes, it's green Nick Hall. It's one of the Boxsters. Yeah, I think it probably is Nick Hall that's gone off, kissed the barrier, rejoined Nick Hall, who was a winner in the first round of the series at the start of the year, has had a moment and kissed the barriers down at the S's. So he was one of the top men at the start of the season, but the competition has got pretty hard, a pretty high level of racing now. Nick Hall, 2 wins at Cadwell Park, the first round of the season, but he hasn't won anything since then, and he's not going to win this race. He's rejoined, hopefully not too much damage to the front of the car, but I think he did kiss the barrier, just oversteered through the first parts of the S's. 7 minutes to go then, and the battle between the 924s is still very, very tight indeed. Number 3, the black 924 of Jason Flake, and number 6, Steve Brown, and just half a second between them now as they go through. Yes, it was the Boxster of Nick Hall that went off. He's still in the top 10, but he's last of the Boxsters now, and not far off being lapped by the leader, Jerry Taylor, who comes through and sets the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 25.4, getting on with it because Dave Clark is just 0.8 of a second behind him now. 6 wins on the bounce for Dave Clark. Jerry Taylor, meanwhile, has only had 1 race victory this season. That came at Anglesey in the middle of the season, but he's had lots of podium finishes of late. In fact, and looking for his 2nd win of the season. Dave Clark thinking as well about the championship, in which he can become the first Porsche BRSCC 19 Boxster champion of that particular version of the championship's life, if he has a good weekend here. Andrew Hannington, his championship rival, is 3rd in the class now in the number 22 924. So top 3 of the 924s, number 3 Flake, number 60 Brown. They're coming into the Russell chicane now. The black number 3 car just about half a second clear, and Jason Flake having to work very hard. 40 years old, from Dunstable, MD of Flake Transports, a specialist transport company, and now part of a race preparation team as well. Both the cars in the top 2 prepared or co-prepared by the Flake Motorsport team. Only been racing Porsches for 3 years. Nick Hall now lapped by the race leader. He's only 2.6 seconds clear of Richard Styrin now in that little battle for the final podium position. And then we've still got this nose-to-tail battle between Jason Flake and Stephen Brown. Stephen Brown, the former karter who started Porsche racing back in 2007, was the went at Anglesey again this year as well. So he likes his visits to the coastal circuit in North Wales, and as he just got the lead of the race, possibly on the way into the Russell chicane, away from Jason Flake. I think it has, possibly, so wait and see for them to come through. Oh no, it's not quite. They're just going through traffic, but there's still just about a car length between them. Through Corham, into the chicane they come. So the battle between the 2 924s is about to be lapped by the overall race leading pairing of Jerry Taylor and David Clark's. So the 924s trying to get out of the way now, but also they've got their own race to concentrate on. Just under 4 minutes to go. Boxers get through with not too much problem. And Stephen Brown are through. And Richard Sykes having to really push on here. Richard 6th overall in the championship. Didn't see him for the first couple of rounds. He's had lots of podium finishes this season, seconds and thirds, but yet to be a race winner in 2010. And if he's to get another podium, he's going to have to work mighty hard during the last in the number 18 car. So the race leaders now very much know to tell as they come through Coram Curve, lights ablaze. It's the red machine of Jerry Taylor versus the white number 41 car of Clark. And then watch for a gap between third and fourth, between number 21 Sykes and number 99 Starring. That's coming down all the time as well. The two orange and black cars on the way to the Bristol chicane in that battle for the final podium position in the Boxster class and the overall podiums. 0.3 of a second between the top two. Dave Clark in second place. That's a new fastest lap. 2.5 minutes to go on the clock as they went through, so they'll squeeze another lap in at the end of this one. So this is for Jerry Taylor, who last won a race back at Anglesey in June, the end of June. He's had to wait a few months, but can he get his second win of the year here? Well, Clark just set the fastest lap of the race, and he's right on the tail now, and he pulls to the outside on the way through the first part of the S's. Can't find a way through there, so he has to have a go the inside on the way to the bomb hole, and Taylor is now going to have to defend like mad. They're side by side, the two leaders, as they come through the bomb hole, head towards Coram Curve, and through comes Sunday. Dave Clark, the championship leader, leads for the first time. Jerry Taylor will now have to follow somebody for the first time in this race, really, and still the battle for third place rages on, because number 21 Sykes been caught by number 99 Starring all the time. They're working their way through the traffic, and just behind them on the road, but a lap down effectively, is the battle for the 924 race lead between number 3 Jason Flake and number 60 Stephen Brown. There's never been more than 0.8 of a second between the pair of them. Through they all come onto their final race. That's to come out of the S's. Will it be the white machine or the red machine that comes out on top? Clark, I think, starting to romp away actually on this final lap of the race. Yes, he's pulled a couple of car lengths clear, but he's probably about 3 or 4 car lengths clear as they come out of the S's through Bomb Hole and through the right-hander flat out at Coram Curve. At least it's flat in fully dry conditions for these Porsches. On the brakes then for the final time into the Russell chicane goes the race leader. Checkered flag is being ready. The clock has already ticked down to 0, and it's going to be another win at Snetterton for Dave Clark, the championship leader. Timed his run beautifully. Great drive by him. Second place to Jerry Taylor. What about third? Is it going to be the number 21 car of Richard Sykes? Yes, it is. Richard Starring, the other Richard, closing him up at the end of the race, but through the traffic Richard was able to just give himself a bit more breathing space. So it's Sykes from Starring, and Lee Fitzpatrick at his Porsche debut is going to finish in